Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Jones from Designs and Machine Embroidery, and I'm excited to be here for you today. I am here in place of Eileen, actually at my own request. So I had a fun project that I wanted to share with you guys, and I wanted to invite a friend that I know that you guys are familiar with to share this project with you and maybe hopefully show you something new. So I want to start out by saying that I am having a little bit of internet difficulties. So some things are coming and going. So if I cut out, please be patient, but hopefully we can get through the entire live. And also my guest is going to help kind of fill the gaps if we kind of break up here. So today we have a special presentation to share with you. And I have invited my friend Stephanie Young from SISER to share this project with all of you. So Stephanie, if you'll join me, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful. So, I have everything fingers crossed that everything stays wonderful with your internet because everybody doesn't want to be left with me. They need you.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Because this whole idea, what we're going to be talking about was something that, we've been seeing on crafting sites, but I've seen you do it. And I thought, you know what? We need to incorporate it with some embroidery. And so we are talking about today how to make a busted canvas project. How cute is that? And this, again, Stephanie, I saw her make this, but she used a little bit different supplies, but I thought we certainly can use this to really showcase our embroidery designs for sure. So I did a little bit different rendition, and Stephanie has done kind of the norm, but then she took it even, a level up 2 or 3 or 4, because hey, that's what you do, right, Steph?
That's what I do. That's me. Yes.
And so go ahead.
I love that behind the scenes, people don't know how much we do collaborate and we talk about some of these projects.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited to be here so that we can show off our own uniqueness today.
Yeah, for sure. And I do love, I learned so much from you. I feel like you are so creative and you think outside the box to try to merge all of your crafts together. And I learned so much from you. I am so inspired by you. And I think that, both of us, we come up with these harebrained ideas and then bounce them off of each other. And okay, do we think this will work? Will it not work? Okay, I think it will. We can make it work. It's going to be great. I feel like that. And it does always end up that way for sure. Don't you think?
I think we always bring it up a notch, and thanks for the kind words. I love how we can see a trend, and I feel like the busted canvas was definitely a trend that was out there, and how we can make it work for our craft. Yeah. So I love that. And I love that we're able to share it with others so that we get to see how they spin it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm just going to click through and say hi. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, please be patient if I have a little bit of audio or internet issues because it didn't start out like it should. So I was just going to say a blanket hi to everybody. Thank you all for being here, joining Stephanie and I. Stephanie, I see friends that we know and some. Yes, exactly. So lots of people that we recognize. So thank you all for being here. I love how this Facebook Live, Eileen has called it Between Friends, because I really do feel like it's between all of us friends. We're all embroiderers, crafters, and we love to share that love of sewing, embroidery, and crafting with all of you. And we enjoy doing it as well. So, okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I want to make sure that we go while the internet is working, Steph, right?
And
Okay,
we have
so
lots to show.
we do, we do. Okay, so Steph and I are going to show you how to make this busted canvas, and it is really, really simple to do, and it is doesn't take a lot of supplies, and you might actually have some of these things laying around your, your sewing and embroidery room. And like I said, Steph always zhuzhes it up. That's what she says, and so she always adds a little more, and she's going to show you something that that she did that is completely out of the norm, but so cool. So the busted canvas is really, really easy. The steps are basically you want to get a canvas. We just got ours from the dollar store. And you're going to want to color the inside and the outside because the busted part is the inside. So you color that and you color the outside some way. Now, me, Steph, I was using items that I had on hand, and I used HTV to bond to the inside of the canvas and HTV to bond on the outside of the canvas. And it just so happened the colors that I was choosing to use is from Dime's Winter Whimsy kit. So then I wound up using that same design. And then I added some little snowflakes for some dimension. But once you bond or add your color, you slice it, and then you're going to add your design that is kind of wrapped in either foam board, cardboard, something, another flat canvas. And that's what is behind. But you don't have to use HTV. And Steph, I know you've done different things too. So what are some other ways they could color their canvas if they didn't want to fuse on their HTV?
So luckily, we have decorative paper that is everywhere. So you could either go to the store and buy decorative paper and decoupage that on, or we have printers at home. You can just hit, fill a design. It does not have to be a thick paper. It can even be done on rice paper. So rice paper is something that some of us old school scrapbookers used to use because it's extremely thin. It just takes a little bit of Mod Podge and it really creates texture. So you have a couple options. You can use copy paper. You can use cardstock from, the box stores to where you can buy a 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11 sheet. Or you could use rice paper and run that through the printer. So all of those are options, and you can mix and match. So let's say you have a pattern that you love and you have a fabric that you love. Put the two of those together because that's where we get to really be in control of those designs. We also have a product that is a printable vinyl that SISER has. So you definitely could use that printable vinyl and then adhere that to whatever you're creating. And you could use that again with that canvas.
I love that. Another really great example. And the one thing that you didn't mention that I saw people were doing to begin with was painting it.
Right. Yes, painting it.
And so if you have paint and you want to paint the canvas like a solid color or either, decorate it, you could do that as well.
And you can paint material also.
Oh, yeah. Good
So it
idea.
doesn't have to be a canvas. So you could paint the material kind of like what might be sneak peeking back here. Yeah. So the denim I painted and then I used some printables. So I'm going to just take this real quickly off of my mannequin stand here, just so you can see a little bit better shot of that, because I did paint that background, and this is a printable vinyl, and that is a printable vinyl.
That is so cool, Steph. Like I said, you always are doing something, thinking outside the box. So instead of just a display of her artwork, she is wearing her artwork, and you did the snaps there.
I did do the snaps.
I just hot glued mine on my canvas. So I love that.
Hot glue is definitely the way to go on a lot of projects. And only reason that I did snaps on this one is because I do plan on wearing it. I already have wore it. And I knew when I washed it, that way I could unsnap it and then be able to make that curl to go back and snap it again. And I'll be real honest, the first time I started, I was trying to sew those down, and that needle going through the denim and everything, I decided I needed to try another way. So that way they can see this is a wearable busted canvas. And we did those same techniques that we've talked about. We had paint, we have vinyl, and we have so lots of different ways that you could do it.
I love
And
that.
I'm going to throw this back up here because we always have more that we're going to show, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to show them a couple of ones that I did, and I know that you have like done even more with yours. So the one that I created here, and the one that Steph and I are going to do the steps for you, I used the materials from our Winter Whimsy kit. This kit includes three of the SISER H or four of the SISER HTV, silver and white Aurora, green strip flock, and red HTV. And it actually comes with that red glitter. Sorry, it comes with that ice skate design. And so I love that design so much. I used it, in my canvas, and then it gives you thread colors that match the HTV and help you complete your design there. And then my snowflakes are from the holiday lace charms, and those are freestanding lace, small miniature embroidery designs that are great for a variety of different things, and I'm going to share those with you. And then, like I said, I just bought my canvas from the dollar store. I bought one that was on the wood frame and one that was the flat one, so that I could just kind of put it to the back and it's already the right size. That was Steph's suggestion, and oh my gosh, was it a time saver. So thank you for that. And so then, yeah, you cover the outside of your canvas and the inside with either HTV paint, like Steph said, decorative paper, to make it really pretty. And then you can cover that second canvas with also something else that you maybe already have that you really want to display. But of course, we're Designs and Machine Embroidery, so I wanted to display my embroidery. So that and a little bit of hot glue, some fabric glue, and some clear monofilament thread, some little other supplies, my rotary cutter, and that's really all that you need. So Steph, I'm going to go under my camera and show the two that I have and show the things that I used, and then we're going to go through the steps of how we created it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So I actually started with the fall one, since whenever I created this, it was actually more fall time. And so you guys may be familiar with our on the house design. So this is one of our on the house designs here that I stitched just on plain fabric. And when I stitched it, something crazy went on with my hoop. I had some puckers around the edge. And you know what? I thought it's so pretty, I didn't want to waste it. And so I just put it for this busted canvas here. This is a freestanding lace flower from Reen Wilcoxon of Embroidery Gardens, her lace flower collection, just to kind of, as Stephanie says, zhuzh it up a little bit to add that extra, cuteness. And the same thing here. So my canvas, so this is just embroidered. I embroidered on my quilting cotton, the design that comes with my Winter Whimsy kit. So Winter Whimsy is a vinyl applique kit. It comes with a free design. You get the colors of HTV that I used in this kit, and then the thread that you need. It does include black and white in the design, but I know you probably have those at home. And so I wanted to use that kit. So I stitched the design on my regular quilting cotton. I wrapped that around my canvas that's in the back. And I even took it a step further and covered the back, because I know how some of you guys really like the back to look nice too. I don't normally, but I did that just for all of you out there. And I added a little fiber fill here for like some snow. I've got my red glitter, my strip flock. So I ironed that on the outside, and then I ironed this on the inside for the busted. And then you see my little snowflakes that are suspended. And I just have those hanging on monofilament thread that I just stuck through the top of my little curls here. And these are turned back with HTV. So those are the two that I've done. And the one that I'm going to show for you today is still uses the colors from this kit, but I have a design that I stitched freestanding lace as a design. So we're going to see that. So today, like I said, I'm using the Winter Whimsy vinyl applique kit, and this is enough vinyl to do this entire design and my busted canvas, and I still had plenty of it left over. But I also used the lace charm. So let me show you. I'm going to slide this one out of the way. In fact, like you can get these little stands here at the dollar store too. They're great for standing those up in your entryway. And so let me pull this over for the lace charm. So the lace charm. So, and look at all this HTV that I had left over. Like I still had enough to do, you know, even more projects. So the lace charm collection is a collection of miniature freestanding lace designs that I used for the snowflakes to suspend. And the other project that I'm going to show you, I actually stitched the Christmas tree directly onto fabric, and we'll see that. But I wanted to show you how cute these are. These little miniature designs, you can stitch them in any color, of course, that you want. And you can add a little extra embellishments, like I did rhinestones on this one. This one actually has mylar in that I stitched over top of, so that to give it a little extra glisten. These are all done with metallic, Kingstar metallic thread. And you can see I've got the same color bobbin as I do the top thread. So they look the same on the back and the front. Okay, so you can do a combination of these. And I've got my little stocking already started here with the thread, because this is the one I'm going to use for the next canvas. But these little designs, they're not just great for what we're doing today. I've got earrings on made from them. And also, let me show you a few other things here. So I actually stitched the stag, or the, oh, it's actually upside down. You can't even tell it. That's the right side right there. I stitched the stag, or the reindeer, on the edge of this little placemat, and then I just hot glued this to a little piece of cork for a little napkin ring there. And then I also did the same thing with this fall set. Like I said, I started this process with fall and then wound up switching to the holiday. But look at these leaves. These are all the leaves that are, well, it's actually 2 leaves that I repeated, and they are the freestanding lace leaves that I stitched directly onto this placemat. And you can make some that are freestanding, and these would make really cute table scatter. And I also did the same thing and attached one to a piece of cork to make my little napkin ring there. So they're great for, you know, making your place settings. And like I said, they're great for earrings too. You get a with an eyelet and without an eyelet. Some of mine, you can see I didn't stitch the eyelet. And so you can stitch it with or without the eyelet, and to hang them or do whatever you need. So, and then Stephanie, while we're talking about the charms, I know you have some that you stitched too. So let's see what Stephanie made with her lace charms.
Well, before I go into that, I am going to actually talk about that just a little bit. So I'm going to change under the camera. I have some water. I have some of my freestanding lace, and I'm going to change views so that you can see, for those that, just to kind of give a different idea of these. Because you know me, always
Love
a little
it.
bit different.
Yeah.
So, first of all, how many of us, we sit here and we cut around because we want to save? What did most people do with this leftover?
Yeah, throw it away. That's what I do, Steph.
We're going to talk about that. And the temperature of water really makes a difference. So, I've been up here for a while, so this water is pretty chilly. And so it's going to take it a little bit longer to dissolve that. Well, Ashley, what I did with mine is something that I know the moment we get done off camera, you are going to, run to the store to make this. I know you. You're going to run.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
So I have a little towel right here beside me. So I'm just going to take these out and just blot these off.
So, and then Steph, for those, so I'll just say, since we didn't talk about it, but freestanding lace, if you're new to freestanding lace, you stitch it on a water soluble stabilizer that is, it looks like it's woven. And so it's sturdier so that it'll hold up to the lace. And ours is called Exquisite Sew and Wash. And so that's what Stephanie is rinsing away. When you submerge it in water, the stabilizer just completely dissolves.
So these are damp still. And look, Ashley, I have your favorite product.
Oh my goodness. That makes my skin crawl.
So while it's damp, you can see I'm just doing glitter straight to it, right? And I'm going
Yes.
to let those dry. And you can even put those underneath your heat press if you're really in a hurry to help set that a little bit. Because, we're crafters. We always wait to the last minute. We're rushing to do things. So
Yeah.
that is a way that I could press that into it. After I let those dry, I'm going to take them outside and then I'm going to use some clear acrylic sealer and that just seals that in. So now I have a bougie snowflake just like that, right?
Right. That, it is super cute and I'm sure that it'll be gorgeous. But that loose glitter just makes my skin crawl. I don't love loose glitter. It's like once you get it going, you can never get rid of it. So, and then Dawn from Creative Apple says glitter with a lots of laughing faces because she
So
knows
here,
too. So,
you can tell I actually keep all of my pieces. So you can
yes,
tell where I've cut around it. So sometimes maybe you want to make a starched material. So you can take those scraps and let it dissolve and then put things like lace in it because see how
look at
flimsy
that.
that lace is? So I can soak that lace to where it becomes starched material. And then I can let that dry. And now look at my lace. So
Yeah.
now I have a very stiff lace that I can sew with.
I love that, Stephanie. And too, we stiffen our fabric to cut on our digital cutters too. So
Exactly.
that is a great way to do that. I love that.
Well, one of the reasons you can thin it down, Ashley, put
Yeah,
it in a spray bottle, and then you can have a spray starch all from that leftover that some people would have just thrown that away.
I just throw it away. I can't lie.
No, no,
So
no, no, no. So
I will keep
I'm
it.
all about upcycle and recycle, right?
That's
This is
right.
another great
Yes,
way to be able to upcycle those things that we would have just tossed. I
I
didn't have
love
to
that.
go buy another material. And then I
Yes.
have some gorgeous lace, and I'm going to show you later what I did with that.
I love that. You always have the best ideas and you always inspire me with your upcycling. So I always try to do better. So we do have some questions already. Carolyn McPherson says, can you stitch lace miniature designs without using my lace maker? Example, just in a design in the fabric. Yes, you can, Carolyn. That's what Steph and I both did today. The lace collection that's on special today is our holiday lace charms. And that it is just a design collection. If you purchase that, download it, the design files are already in the format for all embroidery machine brands out there so that there is one that you can stitch. You just load your stabilizer and then start stitching and that's it. You're ready to go. It's one of my favorite things to stitch because it's kind of stress free. You're not stitching it on another item all the time. So, and then Kathy Purdy says, joining late, which software thing are you showing off today? Because Kathy knows that I am a software fanatic and I use our Dime software for everything. Well, Kathy, I don't have a particular software that I'm using today, but I will give you a tip of what I did use my software for to help me get my design centered when I get to that point. But really what we're doing today, we're using a design that's already ready. We're using freestanding lace charms and then we're fusing on. So you don't have to have any software to do what we're doing today. So, but thank you for asking because you know how I love my software. And even this, Steph, I still used software, but it's not required because I used it to duplicate designs, and to help me with some other things. So, and then Cindy Bell says, Ashley, do you have a quilt in mind with a gorgeous fabric hanging behind you? Oh, I do not. That's actually just for decorative purposes. I don't necessarily have a quilt in mind, but that's actually a great idea, Steph. What if I hung up fabric that I was going to be using in a project? So that might be a good use of that behind me as well. So
Well, we know you just said it was for decorative because you're worried your husband might be watching. We all
yeah,
say, oh, it's decorative because we need it when we're at the store shopping. We know you have a project in mind and you're just being all
yeah,
polite
right.
because we never buy fabric without, we know someday we're going to use it. It's never
Yeah.
just a decoration. That's just
Yep.
what we say as we
That's
add
what we
more
say.
yards into our cart.
Yep. That's what we tell our husbands. Yeah, for
That's what
sure.
we
I agree
say.
with that. And then Caroline Booth says that she loves how Stephanie saves her extra water soluble. She said she saves hers too. So I think that that is great. And I have to tell you, from as much as I know about Stephanie, water soluble stabilizer is not the only thing that she saves. And Dawn said she's saving the planet, which she certainly is, because
I
she
am.
recycles, reuses, and she repurposes more than any one person that I know. So I love that. Okay, so those lace charms and the design pack. So let me head over, Steph. I'm going to get started with my materials, and then we'll show kind of the process of prepping the canvas. And then I know that you've got a really fun tip for them for making a color that you maybe don't have. So
There we go.
so let's see my camera again. And so here's what I use. So if you just go to the dollar store, they have these little canvases, and it's an 8x10. You can use any size. It doesn't have to be 8x10. That's just what I used. And my particular store had either white or black. So if you're doing something like Steph, she had a Halloween one, you wouldn't have to paint this or anything. You could use the black as the color and then just fuse something else to the inside there. So I had these already, and it was Stephanie's suggestion to buy also at the dollar store the flat one. So you can see how this one is thin. These are wrapped around a wood frame. And so these are the exact same size. So you can wrap your fabric around this one or your decorative paper, whatever you're using. And it's the perfect size to fit to the back of this canvas. Now, she's a genius. And so I was extremely thankful for that, because here's what I was doing first. I was looking for all different kinds of materials that I could make my backing out of. And these all worked, because I do have to tell you, my fall door, I just used a piece of cardboard, a box that I had gotten in the mail from Amazon. I cut the box the size of the interior of the wooden frame, and then I could just inset it in there with my fabric wrapped around it. So you could use cardboard. This is just like a piece of card stock that I could wrap and then maybe even staple it to the back, or even foam core. I get this at the dollar store too. So so those are options for wrapping your fabric or putting to the back, and then your canvas. Okay. And so what I did was I just stitched my embroidery design on my fabric. And so this is stabilized with actually Dime's Fuse and Tear. It's a fusible tear away stabilizer. I bonded it. And this tree, Stephanie, believe it or not, this is one of our lace charms. I did resize it. So that was a software use. I did make it larger, but because it's a lace charm, and you guys know that most lace designs have this grid so you could see through them. Well, I didn't want that. I wanted it to be solid, but this is the design that I wanted to use. So I put a little scrap of my HTV, my strip flock HTV, heat transfer vinyl, underneath the embroidery while it was stitching, so that it would fill in. The nice thing about using HTV, this is the same HTV that's in my Winter Whimsy kit, my green strip flock. When you stitch over it, it doesn't necessarily have to be an applique, because it rips away from the satin stitches just like that. Now, I just love doing that. It's so satisfying. I wish that everybody would stitch their designs on HTV and send them to me so I could just rip them away. It's like therapeutic. So then I have my design. Now, then all I need to do is wrap my design around my canvas or my foam board. So this is another tip for using your software. So what I did in my software on my ice skates here is I actually stitched a square that was this, or a rectangle the same size as my canvas, so I could perfectly get that centered. Now this one, I didn't do that. I just stitched it in my 5x7 hoop, and then we're just going to wrap it around the canvas here. So I use a tearaway stabilizer. This is a Fuse and Tear from Exquisite. And so I just bonded it on there. And my design was getting a little dense. And so I did add another layer underneath just to make sure, because I saw a little bit of puckering happening. So I just slipped another piece of stabilizer under. Okay. And so then I just center that over my canvas here, and it looks like my fabric cuts off. So that kind of looks good there. And then for the time being, and just to make this really quick, I'm just going to tape this for now to hold it. But what I did with my other one is I used Mod Podge, also at the dollar store, and these foam brushes, and I just put the Mod Podge and then spread it out because it's just a water-based glue. And then I just stuck my fabric to it, and then I actually covered it with another piece of fabric, what you can see here. So that's what I did for the back of that one. So I'm just going to tape this down with some tape for now. It doesn't have to be, you know, it's just to kind of secure it for what we're doing. And then I will make it more permanent when we're done. And so this is just going to hold it in place so that it stays while I am doing the rest of my planning. So you don't have to watch me tape. And so I'm going to do this. And then Steph, what have you got next that you can share with them?
Well, I want to show how you can use some of those scraps and of that vinyl and how you can make your own color.
Ooh.
And it's really, so this is one of those, I think there used to be a saying, this is my favorite color, it's plaid. So, you know, my favorite color might be plaid. So let me show you. So you can see I have my cutter you could use. You also could just use your scissors. And here's some of those leftover pieces from the projects that we've been doing. So here's that white Aurora. So I'm going to take that carrier sheet off. And I tend to save some of these carrier sheets also because you never know when you might need that. So I'm going to stick that right out of the way. Down here, this is a non-stick cover sheet. So I'm going to take this non-stick and I'm just going to place some colors on here. So you can see, you could just, these are just little pieces that I could lay down. And I can create my own color. So give me just one moment. Let's press this with that non-stick cover sheet. I will move just to let you see what I'm doing. I have my heat press is on right here beside me. It's important that we use that non-stick cover sheet because I don't want it to adhere to my bottom platen or to anything like that. So I have this set at 305 for 10 seconds. And again, I just have that Aurora. I have it on a non-stick cover, and I just put some pieces of that green strip flocking, and you can just see some of them are bigger, some are thinner. Some of you, you might want these to all be the exact same size, and that's okay because it's your project. I kind of like the whimsy of it being different sizes. So now I'm taking off right here those clear cover sheets, and you can see that this is just adhered to my non-stick cover. You could just do 5 seconds, 2 seconds for this, since I'm going to do several layers of it. I find strip flock needs to cool down just a little before removing that carrier sheet. And I've let it get cool while we're sitting here chatting. So then guess what I'm going to do next? Here's the first one. So I'm going to add some other colors to it. And we can talk about some different ways that you can do it. So here I have this underneath camera, and I'm going to show I have some red pieces. I could take the carrier sheet off of them right now, or I could leave it on. It just kind of depends on what we plan on. So here you can see I can lay it down. I could also do, I'm going to do a silver right here and show you that I could even braid some of these, kind of like we do those, let's see, let's do this direction. And then I can have another red. So I'm kind of braiding it like you do that apple pie for Thanksgiving. And you could do in, out with that silver. So you can kind of see how it's starting to build, right? And these are just with scraps. And it's a fun way to kind of do something with the things that we already have and create your own vinyl and own fabric. So what do y'all think with that step?
I love that. Of course, I love how you went in and out because, I didn't do that. I just piled them on top of each other, but of course it adds so much more cuter look with them braided. So, and then you're going to
Remember
use
what I
your
said that I
yeah,
saved these? So look, I don't have to worry about that moving as I pick it up and as I take it over to my heat press because I save everything. That was just one more reason to say that. So that way that held that in place when I go over here to press this so that I can show you.
I
And of
love that.
course, I could, I'd keep doing in outs, in outs, and outs. But this quick, and y'all got to see it on camera.
Love
How
that.
fast was that?
That is
I
pretty quick.
I love that it's not perfect because I could drive myself crazy trying to get it just so. So I like
Absolutely.
just kind of putting it on there, taking that carrier sheet off, and then like you said, Ashley, I could braid in, out, in, out.
Yeah.
So Dawn is asking what this is, a SISER craft press, and it's a 9 by 12. It's the
Perfect.
perfect size for a craft room because it doesn't take up that much room.
Yes, absolutely. And so Kathy asked if we could repeat the stabilizer for the freestanding lace. It's called Exquisite Sew and Wash. It's on our DZGNS website. You can purchase it there. You can also check your local dealer might have carry Exquisite as well. So, but it's Sew and Wash is the stabilizer that we stitch, and I'll show that when we go back under. So, and I thought there was one other question. So, and Kathy Yeager, Steph said, can I use an iron? She
You
sees you're
can.
using your heat press, but
And
yep,
so the thing that I'm going to say, you're not going to iron it, you're going to press it.
right.
So don't move the iron around because you're going to move that vinyl around. So I like to use a hard surface like a cutting board, something underneath it, and
Mhm.
having it to where I can bear down on it. I wouldn't use my ironing board because as you press underneath that ironing board, you have that little sponge so it doesn't give it that firmness from behind.
Right.
So I would use pressure, hold it, pick it up, hold it, pick it up, hold it, pick it up. But definitely, yes, you can use an iron.
I
And we
love
all
that
started with irons beforehand. And
for
actually,
sure.
I have to say that you stitching that square to know where to put it, genius,
I
pure
know
genius.
me, my software, it helps me, but I was also wanted to do it if I wasn't using all those extra tools. So I did a few different ways there. So,
I
and then
absolutely love that.
yeah, so then Amy said, "Where can she get the nonstick sheet?" And so I think we have a nonstick sheet, but I don't know if it may just come with the kit. But check our website because we do have one, or you could probably check at your local big box craft store for a sheet. Your quilt store, and look at that. Isn't that cool? So she made that plaid. So yeah, so nonstick pressing sheet is what you're looking for to do that. We also use it. I use it for a variety of other things when I'm using like a fusible web and that sort of thing as well. So I love that. Okay, so the next step after Steph showed how to create that plaid, let me show you what I did next. Okay, so this canvas that's wrapped around the wooden frame, you can take it off. It's stapled to the wooden frame. You can take that off and then restaple it back if you want. If that's too much work for you, then here's what I did for my second one. I took the first one off, but I wanted to try this a way that might be easier. So I just fused with the canvas still attached to the frame. Look at my plaid. And so there's
Love
my
it.
plaid. And so it's my Aurora HTV, just like Steph just made, and I'm just ironing this down. This is a little craft press, but our little regular press, any press or any iron that'll fit in that inside. And you can see that I'm just pressing and moving it. So now for the outside, I used my red glitter and I cut this down so I had about a 1/2 inch so it would wrap around the edges. And then I just started on one edge just to bond it so that I could make sure that everything was smooth and it wasn't moving every time I was trying to get my canvas smooth like that. Okay. I thought I was going to fuse on this side, but then I was like, better not in case I get a wrinkle in the middle. So then I decided that I was going to iron the top down. Okay. And so the canvas, it's hollow underneath, right? So my first press, I was like, well, that's not going to work. So my hoop and press pad is perfect. This is we usually use it for our hoop, but it fit perfectly in that void. And so now I've got something to press against. So I did the same thing. I just pressed like Steph said. And I did about 5 seconds each time because I'm overlapping. So it's really getting more than 5 seconds. Not to mention the inside of your canvas is getting reheated whenever you press from the outside. And I just bonded it all the way around the edges until I was completely done. And now this is the fun part. You get to cut up your work. And so I just used my rotary cutter and then cut a few slices there. Now you could cut as many or as few as you want, and that is going to make your busted part. So isn't that cool? Okay.
I so love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love seeing that plaid come together.
Me too. And I like how it adds just a little bit of extra color. So then once you've got it all split like this, you can use your hot glue gun to just put a little bit of glue here and then roll that back. You know, your hot glue gun is so stringy. But then I just roll that back, and I used my big clover clips to just clamp here. I at first clamped back here, but then one got glued to the back. So just clamped here, and then just do your hot glue, put it on, and then roll that back. And then again, I just hold that. Now, if you don't have a hot glue gun, you might have some fabric glue like E6000 would work. There's many others. Aleene's has some. And also these glue dots here, I use these for a variety of things. That's another option. They just peel off, and these things are like super sticky. You just stick it on and then again, flip it over. That's probably done. I'd move this over just to give it a little time to bond. And then I can just kind of fluff that up once it's bonded. So isn't that cool? But these little glue dots are a little less messy. And so I really like having those around. And then too, if I'm in a hurry, I don't have to wait for my glue gun to heat up also. But the glue gun is probably more cost effective, I'll tell you that. So then you just roll those back, and you can see my canvas is peeking through. What do you think, Steph?
You know, we keep saying busted.
Yes, it's really cut.
To me, that is peekaboo all day long. I think we should have called it peekaboo busted, because I love how the design starts peeking through as it comes to life.
Yeah, for sure. I do agree with that, with the peekaboo. And then I actually use these glue dots also to bond the canvas to the back of the my canvas frame. So, and they held really well. And then of course, Steph, since our product that is our feature product for today is our lace charms, and so of course I wanted to make sure to incorporate them. So I my snowflakes that are hanging down, so what I did was I had stitched a few others here, and so I just threaded these, and I had two options. What do you guys think? So tell me out there, Steph, what do you think? The stags flying over, like the reindeer flying over, or the stockings are hung? So is the tree indoors or is the tree outdoors? Please say indoors, because I already have this one threaded.
I think 2 stockings and 1 reindeer so that he's Rudolph.
Oh, and we could definitely put something cute on his nose, right?
A red rhinestone.
Yeah. And so this, I use thread that you could see here. So I just threaded this with my blue thread so you could see what I was doing. But I used monofilament. So just a clear thread. There's clear sewing thread, your husband's fishing line, some sort of clear thread like that would work. Or if you don't have that, you could always use a color thread that matches your background, and then you wouldn't even see it. So if I had used a lighter blue, you wouldn't notice it. But I just did a length of thread. I threaded it through, in this case, a little loop of my stocking. And then I just stuck that through here. I just like kind of picked a point, and I just used my needle and stuck that through, pulled it through, and then I tied a knot on the opposite side. Well, actually, I think I just made a knot because it won't come through. But and then I just tied a knot here, and then I did my a little drop of my hot glue again too. Yeah, I did make a knot and didn't mean to. And then I just did a drop of my glue to hold the thread, because even the knot, I think, would most likely come through the canvas at some point. So, but then you can just have that kind of hanging down. You can adjust the height and do your drop of glue there so it's hanging the right height. And now I need to trim all my extra threads. Those are, extra. And so now this, I actually didn't get my tree centered. I should have stitched it like I was supposed to. But then I just used some of these glue dots. These, or you could use your glue gun, or if you've got fabric glue. I'm just going to do a couple here, and then I might pull this off and recenter it. But then these just hold it in place, just like that.
So one other thing that you could do, Ashley, just for those people that don't want to use a needle and thread, you could suspend that in between the front and the back canvas.
Oh, yeah, great idea. So like if you are putting it in between these two pieces right here.
And another thing that you could do, I know you showed that really cute easel. You could do a complimentary ribbon and put that in between the two, and then tie a bow and use that to hang with.
Oh, that's another great idea. You always have the best ideas. Always, always. And so that's why I always love collaborating with you, because I feel like we learn so much from each other, and you always have the best ideas. So
well, I'm going to try to find a shortcut anytime I can.
Absolutely. So, well, our lace charms are the featured product for for today, and so they are on special. I was trying to get to that slide here, and so double click here. There we go. And so those are on special for the presentation today. And now I didn't stitch all of them, but look at the picture on the screen there. So this holiday lace charm collection has a variety of different seasons. You see fall, winter, and Halloween. I see Christmas, and so these can go all through the holiday season for sure. And you saw some of the things that I use them for, but I think so many things. I've got them on as earrings, and they make great Christmas ornaments, all kinds of different things you can do with these little miniature designs. So you get all the ones you see here. This is a design collection. You get them with an eyelet and without, so you can stitch them either way. And you saw that I stitched them on fabric. I stitched them on my placemat, but I've also stitched them freestanding as well. So that is our special product for today. $39.99 is the special price. And don't forget to look how they make great packaging decor as well. Isn't that so cute? I love this collection. So $39.99. This is a download, instant download. So you're going to get these immediately after you check out and pay for them, and they'll be sent to you via an email. And don't forget, though, to order your Winter Whimsy kit too if you want to make your busted canvas, especially with those ice skates, because I know, Steph, you've got another thing that you did with the ice skates. So I think that that's a great segue to see what else you've done. So let's see what else Steph's got in store.
Well, I'm going to show, while you were talking, I did heat press those that I had made just a little while ago just to get those dry, and look at the glitter on those. So again, I will take those outside, and I will use, the company is Plaid, and it is clear acrylic sealer, and you can use this on paper, on wood, on fabric, on several things. So it's just a great little way to seal that in. And now we'll get ready for my reveal of what I did with that winter skate. So, I love a little denim jacket, right?
Yes. So Steph is the queen of upcycling denim jackets.
So this was a cute little girl's winter jacket. And so I thought when I saw that design, I was like, oh, a little figure skater. How adorable is that? So I stitched on here, it says dream big, jump higher.
Oh,
And
oh my
so that
God.
way you can see my take on that, to where I did that same kind of concept. But remember earlier, I was telling you that I wanted my lace to be stiff.
Oh,
I needed
wow.
it to be stiffer while I sewed it, because we know I'm not the most experienced sewer in the world, but I gave it just that structure. But that's where I decided to use my charms. So at
Oh,
each little one, I threw down a snowflake. And so I just gave it a turn, put that, and then I ran it underneath the sewing machine just to give it a little tack down. So that way,
oh,
hopefully, you can really see. I love that Aurora. It really does look like an ice skate to me. It has that shimmer of a beautifully polished skate. And then we have that awesome glitter. And then I used, because I had to go outside the box just a smidge, I used a different color Aurora here. And that's one of your favorite colors, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
it is.
But that way, that really brought that together. And then on the front of the jacket, and I will post this in the group later, I'm stitching directly to the jacket. I'm going to finish it with that holly design. And I, you
Mm.
know me, I can't just do one thing. I've got to do a couple. So, you know, but
Oh.
hopefully you can see how that really is makes it easy to turn and to cut that.
Yeah, I love that. That is so cute. And that is a surprise to me. She did not reveal that to me before we started. I love that, Steph. That is so cute.
So now,
Um,
you know,
so so many things they can do, right?
there we go.
And I did see some other questions, so let's answer these too before we go on to the house design. So, did you do the plaid on a piece of fabric? So, the base of the plaid was actually Aurora HTV, so it's an HTV also, which is why we bonded it with the nonstick sheet underneath, because when you heat it, it's going to bond to whatever you're putting it on. So you have to heat it on a nonstick sheet so you can peel it off. But then it bonded, of course, to the back of our canvas. So it was Aurora HTV that we put underneath. But you certainly could make plaid fabric by doing the same thing. So that's actually another really great use of the HTV. I love that, right?
I love that you could use it with just all fabric and put a bond agent behind it and do those,
Yeah.
or mix and match a little bit to have a little bit of vinyl and to have a little bit of fabric to give those different textures if they wanted also.
And so this, I think this is Laura's next question. So do you see the edges of my fabric there? I think that's what Laura is talking about. How did I get it with the pinking shears? So Laura, I actually have a blade for my rotary cutter that is one is a wave and one is like a pinking. So I actually did that with the my rotary blade that is pinking, but I feel like you could, because once you roll these back, you don't
Right.
know if you're missing extra fabric or not. So if you don't have a rotary blade that does the pinking, but you like this look, then you could cut it with your rotary blade and then just pink the edges of the canvas there too, is another option. So, but I'm thinking that's what she was talking about there. But I didn't even notice, didn't think anybody would notice because it's kind of hard to see. So, but Laura must have an eagle eye, so she caught that little detail. And then Laurie W, yes, the winter kit is called Winter Whimsy, and it comes with the HTV, the design that we used, the skates here, and then matching thread. The only thing that's not in here is the black and the white, which we figure that you would have. So that is on Dime's website, dzgns.com. And so it's called the Winter Whimsy Vinyl Applique Kit. So take advantage of that. It's got one sheet of each of those colors in there. So it's a really good deal. And if you haven't worked with HTV, it's a great way to kind of get started because it gives you a design that we know works really well with the instructions for doing the design and the each of those HTV that work with embroidery. So, and then Marianne said, does the stabilizer stay in the lace if it is washed? So no, the stabilizer that we used, it is exquisite sew and wash. It looks like a woven stabilizer, but this is completely dissolvable. When Steph showed putting her snowflakes in the water, when you drop your design in the water, it completely dissolves this. And what does stay in the design is a little bit of the stiffness, because as Steph said, it kind of is like a starch type feel or texture that you get from that spray if you dissolve that in there. So that same thing on your lace, when you are rinsing away that stabilizer, the more you rinse it, the softer your lace will get. The fewer rinses, then it'll stay stiff like these. And I wanted my charms to be stiff because I wanted to hang them. And so the more you rinse, the softer it will get. But it's exquisite sew and wash. So another really great question.
I feel like also the more that you put in there, so like those scraps makes it more starchy. And by letting it soak in there, it really kind of gets in there. So to me, when I take it out, I could have some of mine so much it's almost slimy from where I have put so much in there because I want something to really be stiff. What I love to do, and you can even see, I'm going to hold this up instead of switching. While they're damp, if you curl them, they'll hold that curl as they dry. So that way I feel like it has, it's like starch. So to me, it's just a homemade starch on steroids. And the longer you soak it, the more it gets in. So this jacket, obviously, I'm not going to be wearing it. But I will, somebody is going to wear this for a project. And if I needed to, I could use my little spray starch to kind of stiffen this up again if I needed to.
And so, Steph, while you've got that held up, so then Lori also asked, what is Aurora? And so Aurora is one of the HTV that we use in our embroidery designs. So when we first started working with HTV in our embroidery designs, Stephanie was such a huge instrumental part in sharing with us which ones would work with embroidery because she had been doing it before we started having these kits. So there are 3 different types of HTV that we know work really well with your embroidery designs, and that is glitter HTV, and we use SISER's glitter HTV, SISER's strip flock, which has kind of a velvety suede texture to it. And then Aurora was what was in her skates. And the Aurora HTV has like an iridescent or color changing effect to it. And so that's what was in the, in the white of her skates. And you can kind of see it has that iridescent. And she also has it in her leaves as well. Whereas I had the green strip flock in my leaves. So because that was what the strip flocks in the kit, and then the white and the silver Aurora are in the kit as well. So that's what we are talking about when we talk about Aurora HTV. And then, and then Linda Brooks says, can Kingstar metallic be used for the earrings? Yes. In fact, I just used white thread because I did the snowflakes in white, and I did put Mylar under my, the lace to give it a little bit of glitz. But yes, I'm sorry, I'm getting all my words confused here. Metallic embroidery thread, Kingstar metallic, is great for doing the earrings because just like you saw in my examples, I used it in the back and the front. So this little holly and berries, that's green Kingstar metallic and red Kingstar metallic. And I also put it in the bobbin so it would look the same on both sides. So that would make it great for any of the earrings. And so absolutely, that's a really good design. So, and then Cindy said, make plaid fabric with the special FX software. So Cindy, I almost did that, but I really wanted to use the contents of my kit. But that is a great use of your software. You know, I love my software. And so that was where my mind went first. So, and then Anne said she really liked how this looks. After I finish my current project, she'll have to give it a try. So, and then I see there's a couple of more questions here. What about the lace piece Steph made? What about it? So was there a question that I missed before that? I don't know. So if Mary,
Well, it's still
Mary,
soaking over here. Maybe they were asking what I'm going to do with it. So I
maybe
still have
so.
it soaking.
Yep.
And then I am going to use this. I'm going to use it to create an applique, and I'm going to put one of our HTVs behind it and then put that lace over it to finish off this jacket. So I'll show that, but I didn't want to, you gotta string it out a little bit. And I believe Carolyn McPherson asked, is Aurora like Mylar? And so I want to go back to answer. Okay. Aurora is a HTV. And for those that maybe aren't as familiar, HTV stands for heat transfer vinyl. So it is a vinyl that you can use with your electronic cutting machines to cut and put things onto garments. It's also a fabric that you can use to be able to embroider with. So you keep seeing us take that carrier sheet off, and then we just use it like a fabric to embroider. So it's much thicker. It has an adhesive on the back of it. And that's what Aurora is versus what is the Mylar. So it's two separate things.
Yeah, Mylar is clear, and it's a film. It's a polyester opalescent film, and it's clear. But the Aurora is not clear, but it has that iridescent look on the top. And then, of course, the back would be heat applicable to whatever you're working on. So, good question.
To me, the charms, I feel like there are so many uses with them. I love the examples that you showed. I love doing them as earrings. I feel like I'm a little old lady sometimes because I love brooches. Yeah. And so I love doing several of the charms and putting them on a brooch to be able to wear those and throw them with scarves. We know I love a headband. I have put them on headbands. I love using them for the edges of napkins to put them. So many things, and they stitch out so quickly.
They do. Absolutely. For sure. So yeah, definitely grab those lace charms and talk about designs in general. We give you a free design every week. So let me share that with you before we sign off. So if you're not familiar, Dime has a free design every week that we released called our On the House design. The On the House design you can find over at our dzgns.com website, where is also where you can find all the product. But our On the House design is free. You can download all the ones for all year long, but they're not there forever. So make sure that you download them if you want them before they go away. Now, if you do use them, we would love to see your projects. So if you make a project with one of our On the House designs, please share it on social media and use hashtag Dime Sew Along, hashtag On the House, hashtag Exquisite Thread. That allows us to find it. And then we love to share with everyone what you guys have been making. So in fact, take a look at this video of what all of you guys have been stitching with the On the House designs. So cute. I love seeing what everybody made, right?
I love it. And I love these little sweaters.
I do too. So these are the latest ugly sweater designs, and they're not even ugly.
Yeah,
So if you
they're not.
haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so for the month of November, Eileen started with a sweater, and each week we give away new elements because we want you to create your own ugly sweater and share that with us on social media. So each week you get the sweater design, the blank sweater design that you could embellish with any other designs that you own, or you can use the designs that we're giving away each week. And this week you'll get the sweater, the stag, the jingle bells, and the cute little string of lights, which is one of
I
my
love
favorites.
it.
Yes. So a few years ago, we had every month there was a new door project, and everybody would decorate stuff, add their own little flair. And so this ugly sweater was actually my idea to do that because I loved seeing what everybody was doing. So I hope that you're making your sweaters because Eileen, at the end of the month, will be sharing a project that incorporates all of your sweaters that you've made all year long. So hopefully they're decorating and embellishing their sweater each week as well. So isn't that cute?
That is adorable. And I remember the door designs because at that
Yeah.
time I was managing an embroidery store and we would have a sew along to make them all
Yep.
together. And
Oh,
then
they were
we made
so
a
good.
quilt out of each one. So I am so excited to see this. I've got
Love
something
that.
up my sleeve with these sweaters. So I can't
Ooh.
wait to show that later too.
Oh, good. I can't wait to see. If I know you, it'll definitely be super creative. So download your sweater design and any of the past designs before the end of the year, if you want. So you can download all the way back to January. If you go to our site, dzgns.com, it's under the free designs category, and you can download those. So get your on the house design for sure. So, and then next week, Eileen will be back. So you'll see her, and she always has something exciting and fun planned for all of you. So make sure you join her next week on Between Friends. Same bat time, same bat channel. So join her back here. And then I just wanted to remind everybody to take advantage of those lace charms while they're on special. They make cute embellishments to your busted canvas and so much more. So, Steph, before we go, I want to say thank you so much for joining me and always sharing your creativity with me because you inspire me to want to do so much more. So, thank you for being here with me.
Thanks so much for having me because you know I love collaborating. You know I like being outside the box just a little bit, and
Yeah.
you give me an excuse to push myself to find a new way to do something.
Yes, and I appreciate those kind words as well. So, all right, everyone, until we have another Between Friends episode, we'll say bye for now. Thank you all for being here.